Welcome to this comprehensive masterclass presentation tailored specifically for the Deputy Educational Officer Examination, Paper 2, Part B. Today, we are focusing deeply on Unit 3, which covers critical concepts in educational management. Over the course of these slides, we will explore core topics including leadership styles and behavior, organizational behavior, group dynamics, foundational theories of motivation, and effective self-management strategies for educational administrators. Question 1. Which leadership style is characterized by individual consideration, intellectual stimulation, and inspiring a shared vision? Options: A. Autocratic leadership, B. Transformational leadership, C. Laissez-faire leadership, D. Transactional leadership. Correct answer: B. Transformational leadership. Explanation: Transformational leadership focuses on transforming followers by inspiring them, offering intellectual stimulation, and showing individualized consideration to achieve higher organizational goals. Question 2. Who proposed the hierarchy of needs theory of motivation? Options: A. Douglas McGregor, B. Abraham Maslow, C. Frederick Herzberg, D. Victor Vroom. Correct answer: B. Abraham Maslow. Explanation: Abraham Maslow proposed the hierarchy of needs pyramid, starting from physiological needs up to self-actualization, which heavily influences educational management motivation strategies. Question 3. What does group dynamics primarily study in educational organizations? Options: A. Individual financial incentives, B. Attitudes, behavior, and interaction of groups, C. Strict bureaucratic rules, D. Architectural building designs. Correct answer: B. Attitudes, behavior, and interaction of groups. Explanation: Group dynamics examines the nature of groups, how they form, their processes, and how interpersonal interactions affect team cohesion and institutional productivity. Question 4. Herzberg's two-factor theory of motivation distinguishes between which two sets of factors? Options: A. Internal and external, B. Hygiene factors and motivators, C. Formal and informal, D. Theory X and Theory Y. Correct answer: B. Hygiene factors and motivators. Explanation: Hygiene factors prevent job dissatisfaction, such as salary and working conditions, while motivators create job satisfaction and encourage high performance, such as achievement and recognition. Question 5. Theory X and Theory Y of management and motivation were formulated by whom? Options: A. Elton Mayo, B. Douglas McGregor, C. Max Weber, D. Henri Fayol. Correct answer: B. Douglas McGregor. Explanation: Douglas McGregor presented Theory X, a pessimistic view of workers, and Theory Y, an optimistic, participatory view of workers, in human resource management. Question 6. What is the core emphasis of self-management vis-a-vis educational management? Options: A. Ignoring institutional goals, B. Personal accountability, time management, and self-regulation of leaders, C. Outsourcing all school duties, D. Centralized autocratic control. Correct answer: B. Personal accountability, time management, and self-regulation of leaders. Explanation: Self-management requires educational leaders to effectively regulate their own behavior, emotions, and time to successfully manage broader institutional processes. Question 7. Which of the following best describes management of innovations in education? Options: A. Following rigid traditional textbooks, B. Adopting and systematically implementing creative practices and tech, C. Stopping all curriculum changes, D. Reducing student enrollment. Correct answer: B. Adopting and systematically implementing creative practices and tech. Explanation: Management of innovations involves introducing new ideas, instructional tech, or administrative methods and managing the change process effectively in schools. Question 8. What is the main feature of autocratic leadership in an educational setting? Options: A. Complete staff participation in decisions, B. Centralized decision-making and strict control by the leader, C. Complete freedom given to teachers, D. Absence of any rules. Correct answer: B. Centralized decision-making and strict control by the leader. Explanation: Autocratic leaders retain all authority and decision-making powers, dictating methods and tasks without consulting subordinates. Question 9. Which dimension of educational management deals with interpersonal relationships and communication? Options: A. Structural dimension, B. Human or behavioral dimension, C. Financial dimension, D. Physical dimension. Correct answer: B. Human or behavioral dimension. Explanation: The human or behavioral dimension focuses on people, motivation, communication, group dynamics, and organizational culture. Question 10. What does team building aim to achieve in educational management? Options. A. Create rivalry among staff. B. Enhance collaboration, trust, and collective efficiency. C. Isolate teachers from each other. D. Eliminate all team meetings. Correct answer. B. Enhance collaboration, trust, and collective efficiency. Explanation. Team building activities strengthen interpersonal bonds, improve communication, and align staff toward common school goals. Question 11. Which leadership model emphasizes adapting leadership style to the readiness or maturity level of subordinates? Options. A. Situational leadership model. B. Fixed autocratic model. C. Classical bureaucratic model. D. Laissez-faire model. Correct answer. A. Situational leadership model. Explanation. Hersey and Blanchard's situational leadership theory states that leaders must adapt their behavior based on the task readiness and maturity of followers. Question 12. What does Vroom's expectancy theory of motivation primarily focus on? Options. A. Only physical punishment. B. Link between effort, performance, and rewards. C. Strict school boundaries. D. Hereditary traits of leaders. Correct answer. B. Link between effort, performance, and rewards. Explanation. Expectancy theory argues that employee motivation is determined by expectancy, instrumentality, and valence. Question 13. What is an emerging approach in modern educational management? Options. A. Total quality management and distributed leadership. B. Complete rejection of technology. C. Elimination of all staff meetings. D. Manual record keeping only. Correct answer. A. Total quality management and distributed leadership. Explanation. Emerging approaches emphasize distributed leadership, stakeholder collaboration, total quality management, and data-driven decision-making. Question 14. What does organizational behavior study in educational institutions? Options. A. Only physical school infrastructure. B. How individuals and groups act within educational organizations. C. External political elections. D. Meteorological weather patterns. Correct answer. B. How individuals and groups act within educational organizations. Explanation. Organizational behavior investigates the impact that individuals, groups, and structure have on behavior within organizations, aiming to improve effectiveness. Question 15. What is the primary characteristic of laissez-faire or delegative leadership? Options. A. Maximum autonomy and freedom given to subordinates. B. Strict constant supervision. C. Dictatorial control over tasks. D. Complete lack of communication. Correct answer. A. Maximum autonomy and freedom given to subordinates. Explanation. In laissez-faire leadership, leaders provide minimal guidance and give group members complete freedom to make decisions and solve problems. Question 16. Which theory emphasizes that leaders are born with specific innate traits? Options. A. Trait theory of leadership. B. Situational theory. C. Contingency theory. D. Transformational theory. Correct answer. A. Trait theory of leadership. Explanation. Trait theory suggests that certain personality traits, like intelligence, charisma, and confidence, are inherent to successful leaders. Question 17. What is the key advantage of participative or democratic leadership in schools? Options. A. High staff morale and commitment. B. Complete centralization of power. C. Zero communication among teachers. D. Elimination of feedback. Correct answer. A. High staff morale and commitment. Explanation. Democratic leadership involves teachers in decision-making, which boosts morale, fosters collaboration, and increases ownership of institutional goals. Question 18. What does management of innovations require educational leaders to manage effectively? Options. A. Resistance to change among staff. B. Strict adherence to 19th century methods. C. Complete shutdown of computers. D. Stopping all professional development. Correct answer. A. Resistance to change among staff. Explanation. Implementing innovations often faces organizational inertia and resistance. Leaders must manage this change transition smoothly through communication and support. Question 19. What is the central idea of McClelland's 3 needs theory? Options. A. Need for achievement, power, and affiliation. B. Only basic physiological needs. C. Financial salary needs alone. D. Strict physical safety needs. Correct answer. A. Need for achievement, power, and affiliation. Explanation. David McClelland proposed that people are motivated by three primary needs: achievement, power, and affiliation, shaped by life experiences. Question 20. Which model of educational management views the school as a rational, hierarchical system with clear rules? Options. A. Bureaucratic model by Max Weber. B. Chaotic model. C. Completely informal model. D. Random anarchy model. Correct answer. A. Bureaucratic model by Max Weber. Explanation. Max Weber's bureaucratic model emphasizes a formal hierarchical structure, division of labor, clear rules, impersonality, and merit-based promotion. Question 21. What is the significance of team building in improving school climate? Options. A. It builds trust, cooperation, and resolves conflicts. B. It creates friction among departments. C. It isolates teachers. D. It increases administrative paperwork. Correct answer. A. It builds trust, cooperation, and resolves conflicts. Explanation. Team building fosters positive relationships among educators, leading to reduced conflicts, higher morale, and better student outcomes. Question 22. What does self-management imply for an educational administrator? Options. A. Emotional intelligence, stress management, and reflective practice. B. Completely ignoring self-care. C. Relying entirely on others for basic tasks. D. Avoiding all professional growth. Correct answer. A. Emotional intelligence, stress management, and reflective practice. Explanation. Self-management involves personal discipline, emotional regulation, continuous self-assessment, and effective time management by leaders. Question 23. Which of the following represents an informal group within an educational organization? Options. A. Staff members sharing common hobbies or social lunch groups. B. Officially appointed examination committee. C. Board of directors. D. Principals appointed advisory board. Correct answer. A. Staff members sharing common hobbies or social lunch groups. Explanation. Informal groups form naturally based on friendships, shared interests, and social needs rather than official organizational charts. Question 24. What is the primary role of a transformational educational leader? Options. A. Inspiring and empowering stakeholders for profound positive change. B. Maintaining status quo strictly. C. Punishing teachers for minor errors. D. Avoiding all innovation. Correct answer. A. Inspiring and empowering stakeholders for profound positive change. Explanation. Transformational leaders elevate the aspirations of teachers and students, inspiring them to exceed ordinary performance and drive meaningful institutional reform. Question 25. Which theory suggests that employees are motivated by the fairness of rewards compared to others? Options. A. Adams equity theory. B. Classical theory. C. Bureaucratic theory. D. Trait theory. Correct answer. A. Adams equity theory. Explanation. Adams equity theory states that employees compare their input-output ratio with others in the organization, seeking fairness and equity in rewards. We have now completed our comprehensive review of all 25 high-yield multiple-choice questions covering Unit 3 of your DIEO syllabus. Remember to consistently revise key concepts such as transformational leadership, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, Herzberg's two-factor theory, and Weber's bureaucratic model, as these frequently appear in the examination. Practice these questions multiple times to sharpen your analytical skills and time management. We wish you the very best of luck with your preparation and your upcoming Deputy Educational Officer examination. Go achieve your goals.